ChatGPT trained me how to run for 5 months straight, then I entered 2 races in the end for the final test. This might be more than what you expect. It all started when I was invited by my cousin to join a fun run. When I got there, she introduced me to her circle of runners before the event started. I was told to pair up with one of the runners. I surely kept up with the pace, and after the run, I was invited to run in Siargao later in May. On April 12, I got invited again to another fun run in a neighboring city. I was 7th place there, and I realized I had potential in running. I wanted to see what would happen if I stuck to it and trained consistently. So I asked ChatGPT for a program so I could run a marathon in 5 months, because the Milo Marathon will be held in our city this September 21. So it would be a huge advantage on race day because I get to prepare well with my sleep, diet, and race day items. This is what the program looked like. It had 3 phases: the build phase, the speed phase, and taper phase. It consisted easy runs, intervals, tempo runs, and long runs. So I trained a lot and followed the program like a robot. I even asked for an indoor training plan because it rains often. And when I ran in Siargao, I got a 55-minute 10 km. So it means I'm faster than most recreational runners. That motivated me to stick to my training. But the more I train, I start to feel knee and tendon pain, but I still stuck to the program even if my legs didn't feel good. I also get occasions when my right midsection is aching mid-run. So I asked ChatGPT how to deal with it, and I didn't experience it again when I stopped gulping water just before running. However, I figured out that Milo had no full marathon category, so instead of training for a marathon, I want to win a race instead. So I researched more about how to win a race and shifted my training plan in order to run faster. I aimed to be the champ of the 21 km category in Milo Marathon. My pace was still far from having a winning time, but I argued that if I stuck to my training plan, I would have a race-winning pace at the end of my training. I continued training for months, then I realized my pace wasn't improving very well. So I did a time trial. I did one on 10 km and I realized I was not getting much faster despite the few months of training. I then plotted out the improvement percentages, and my numbers were not looking good. Even if I forecast my improvement, which is absurdly high compared to the average person, I still could not win a race. I saw a YouTube video of a running coach saying that you should not train all your athletes the same way, and instead of having your athletes run a given distance, you should have a time trial in different distances and see where their pace falls off. Then compare that pace to the average of all runners. So if they had a faster pace than most runners in a certain distance, then that should be their event. It made sense for me because I watched and trained a lot of sports. And I noticed a correlation of how genetics play a huge role when it comes to the top athletes across all sports. I realized that I was a fast twitch-oriented athlete. I'm faster at sprinting than in long distance running. So I did a time trial for the shortest distance commonly available in races, which was 3 km. The time trial was great. My pace was faster than average in that distance, then I compared my time to other distances, and it confirmed that I'm fast twitch because my pace falls off the longer the race goes. Because of that, I shifted my training from running 21 km to running a fast and podium-winning 3 km. This time, I was confident that I could get a podium based on the winning times I gathered. After a focused month of training, I get mentioned to an upcoming race in our city's festival. It had 3 km on it, so I said I could podium that and signed up for the race. I was confident with my training that I could win, so I was now even more motivated to train. But 3 days before the race, I had to see a doctor because of my cough. The cough lasted about 9 days, so I was required to get an x-ray. The day after that, they showed my x-ray result to the doctor and I was diagnosed with pneumonia. I was bummed because I skipped a week of training because of my cough, and now I have to win a race with it. This was 2 days before the race, but I didn't want my training to go to waste, so I asked the doctor if I can run, and luckily, she was okay with it. I didn't tell her I was going intense to win a race though. On race day, I followed what ChatGPT told me to prepare before the race. It was a schedule when I should use the toilet, eat, warm up, drink coffee, and go to the venue. I really felt that my body wasn't energetic because of my medicine. All I needed to do now is to run. When the race started, something really didn't feel right. My endurance was cut in half, my legs felt it had no power, and I was breathing deeply early on. I got to the halfway point and they provided a bottle of water. I took one and every time I sip, my breathing becomes worse. While I was running back, I questioned why I did this and I don't want to run races again. I kept my pace and by the time I got to the finish line, I was in 4th place with a time of 14 minutes. My target was within 10 minutes. That time is considered fast because it's a hilly course. I was bummed because I felt like months of training was wasted since I got sick just before the race. which meant all of my training was wasted. And the worst thing was, I was bothered that I knew I could beat the two people in front of me. If I was healthy, I knew I would be second place for sure. It haunted me for weeks, while I'm getting frustrated that I can't get back into training because I haven't fully recovered. I had one race left in September to get my redemption, which was Milo. I signed up for the 3km race so I could compare my previous run, but this time I wasn't training well because it got disrupted by my cough. On the Milo race day, I gave it all I could. I kept in my mind what I learned in my first race. I kept the pace controlled and had a negative split, which means I would run faster at the end. My lungs felt way better than my last race, and my body had more energy. I finished with 10 minutes and 11 seconds. I wasn't first, but I was one of the top runners there. I thought I had an award, but they only gave awards to children in the 3km category. Even though I didn't get an award, I realized I could tolerate more pain than I was used to, and I knew I could push myself more. Even better, I was right that I would have easily been second place in that race if it wasn't for my cough. So, the result of my 5 months running was not what I expected when I started. I thought I would just be a finisher in races. My rate of improvement was fast because of ChatGPT. Even if you compare it to seasoned runners, I had a faster improvement rate and I improved way faster than most beginners. After the Milo race, I had to reflect and reassess. I learned that runners who win podiums have been running their whole lives and have dedicated their life to running. I can't compete against that. I also don't want to run a lot because I get knee and tendon issues. Besides, Tour de France cyclists only get a 6-year longevity boost compared to the average person that don't live a healthy lifestyle. It made sense when I realized that running long hours in the heat isn't healthy. And I don't like when I'm losing muscle because of running for long periods.